A successful week to close the regular season for the Florida State softball team. Seminoles finishing 49-5, and that's after a season sweep of Florida, a 2-1 win on Wednesday. And then a sweep up at NC State, dodging the rain and cold weather up there to knock off the Wolfpack. A good conclusion to the regular season for the Seminoles. We had fun watching this team, and we welcome in Caylan Arnold, who pitched for the Seminoles in 2020 and 2021. She's an analyst with ACC Network Extra. And of course, you know her on social media. She's got a company, Sunday Golds Co., and they are creating all kinds of T-shirts for various players. And we'll mention that a little bit later. But first, want to welcome in Caylan, and thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Excited to talk about the Noles.
Yeah, we'd like to do this for the Osceola, for the Florida State fans and those who are watching softball and have gotten caught up in this excitement over this program, and we've enjoyed kind of watching it take off these past few years. And maybe let's start there. The fifth largest crowd in program history Wednesday night. I got a chance to get there early. The crowd was lined up as usual. You've experienced that as you're kind of warming up before those big games. Florida State and Florida games kind of feel a little bit different. You can kind of feel that energy. Let's kind of discuss a little bit your big takeaways from that Wednesday game. It was a 2-1 win for the Seminoles.
You know, it's funny because I think after that game I tweeted, the Noles, they know how to keep you on your toes because, the last two games against Florida has been won in a walk-off, which it's just like they want to make it a good game for you, which, I appreciate. But at the same time, it's giving me heart palpitations at 24. So it's something, but it's so fun to watch. And I think that it's awesome that, Florida State, it's always somebody new, always somebody different that's making the big impact, with in the first game, Sydney hitting the walk-off, and then in the second game, Janai hitting the walk-off. And I think both Watson and Sandercock pitched phenomenal in those games. And so it's really fun to just see good softball. And like you said, it's a huge atmosphere. It's the Sunshine State Showdown. And I love that. I love that it's in like its own category, that people call it that, because it just makes it that much more fun. But it's so exciting to see that type of crowd, showing up on a Wednesday for a softball game, a midweek. And getting to experience that as a player, and now seeing it as an alumni, it just makes you really happy because you can see just the growth of the sport and the fan base, and seeing the support for these women. It's really exciting.
That was the first sweep of Florida since 2006. It was, of course, before Coach Alameda had come to Florida State. One of the reporters asked Johnny Kerr, how old were you back in 2006? And she thought for a moment, said 4. So for reference, it's been a while since a sweep, but it's a good one for the Seminoles. And have to mention 30-0 in the regular season against non-conference opponents. And Caylan, as you know, they've played just about everybody in the top 25, it seemed like, from Clearwater all the way through. What does it say just about what this team accomplished, not just in the ACC portion, but to beat some of the best teams in the nation and some programs that you're going to see in OKC again down the road?
I think we saw it from the very beginning at the Clearwater tournament. These girls came out and the bats were hot. The offense was stellar. Pitching was amazing. And so it got everybody really excited. But, at the beginning of the season, you have to think, okay, are we going to continue with this? Is this something that's going to be ongoing, or is this just something like, because the team that ended up losing in supers to OSU, they went undefeated at Clearwater. So I know some of those girls who were on that team were like, okay, we've done this before and it didn't really work out the way we wanted it to. How is this going to look? But I think that this team has come out, and like I said, just the fight in them, it's never over with Florida State. And that was something that I can't remember which player it was at Alabama, but she said that she's never had a win against Florida State in her career. And she said they're just always fighting. They're always there. Like, they never go away. And I think that speaks for those non-conference wins, is it's like they play so hard when they're expected not to be there, not to be in those games, and not to make that kind of impact. It goes back to last year, the team not expecting to make it to the World Series, especially not the championship game. So I think that's just a part of Florida State's legacy, and it shows in these top 25 wins non-conference.
Okay, so moving over to the weekend, Florida State going up to Raleigh. The weather was a bit of an issue, but overall, 3 really good games, very entertaining. You had to kind of follow the radar as much as the broadcast to kind of keep up with what was going on. But the Seminoles finished off NC State. It was 3-1 on Friday. And as you get into the weekend, the games finished in an unusual order, but wins for the Seminoles 10-6 and 8-4. There was a home run derby in that final game to conclude the regular season. Some really good pitching, though, too. Your big takeaways from the weekend?
Yeah, the weather was crazy. I mean, I know before they went into the delay, it was just pouring out there. And so that's so hard coming off of like a delay, trying to get back into the game, trying to figure out, okay, where was I mentally before? I've got to try to get back there again, and getting that momentum back, and then getting delayed again and having to play, the rest of a game the next day. It's a lot for the athletes. So, but I think my biggest takeaways were just Sydney Sherrill, period. Like, she had one of the most explosive offensive weekends I've ever seen from a player. I mean, records were set. She hit 3 home runs in one game, which has never been done by a Florida State player before. And then the offense itself hit 7 home runs in a game, which has never been done by a Florida State team in a game. So really cool with the home run derby. But NC State, they came in with hot bats. They were hitting home runs as well. And they were talking about that's kind of their mindset. They're going to take big swings and they're going to hit home runs. And so, Coach Alameda had told the pitchers beforehand, hey, solo shots are not a big deal. It's going to happen. It's how they hit. So we've just got to be able to move on from that. And the plan worked. They hit a few solo shots and got some runs up on the board, but the offense for Florida State was able to come through. I think pitching was phenomenal. Like, you could see as a pitcher, like, I get really nerdy about it because I can see the plans. And so when the plans work out, I get really excited about it. But Catherine did such a great job of staying out of the zone and making those big swingers swing at her pitches. And they were taking big hacks at balls in the dirt. And I absolutely love that because I know that was their plan going into it. And Danielle, I think, did a great job, too, of expanding the zone. So I think the pitchers did phenomenal. And I was really excited that we were able to get some young people in there, too. We had, Christina Hartley get some at-bats. We had Brooke Blankenship. She's had a few appearances, but, still a freshman. Katie Bright was behind the plate, so able to give Michaela a little bit of a rest before they go into the ACC tournament. So I thought it was a really great weekend.
All right, so Florida State has wrapped up the regular season. Again, as we mentioned, 49-5. Tough to beat that. And I know there was some, let's say, consternation on social media about the Virginia Tech series. There was a lot of fans in town. Hey, it was spring football game weekend. So a lot of fans were showing up and watching softball. All eyes were on the program. That wasn't the best overall weekend that this program has shown us, but I think we've seen the body of work is incredibly impressive. One quick thing I wanted to ask you about before we kind of get into the ACC tournament. Coach Alameda, I think, was asked Wednesday after the Florida game just about how this team wins, how it finds different ways to win. Can win through pitching, hitting, defense, base running, winning games late. I have no idea how many one-run wins they have, but it seems like it's an incredible 5 walk-off wins, obviously in the last at-bat. Is that just something that's really cool that we have to appreciate, the various ways that this team has found to beat teams?
I think so. Being a part of the program and a part of the team, it is all about the grit and it's all about the fight. And like I said earlier, nobody expected last year's team to even get out of regionals, but they found a way. We found a way, and it was with the small ball and the base running and good defense. And this team is still a part of that team. There's still players from that team, but they've also been able to add power into the offense. And so now they're just more dynamic all the way around. So they can hit home runs, they can get the bunt down, they can steal the bases. I mean, they lead the nation in defense. So it's all about the grit and the fight and just win any way you can. Coach, one of her favorite sayings last year was, "We bend, we don't break." And I think that's still a big motto for this team, is bend, don't break. You find a way to win, and it doesn't matter how, doesn't matter who does it. The game doesn't know, but it comes out in their favor more than not. So definitely.
All right, Caylan, let's give you a quick plug here. SundayGoldsCO.com. Your site, a great entrepreneur. You've kind of timed this NIL market with your friendships and relationships within the program. I know a lot of people follow you on Twitter and Instagram, but tell us about your business. And I see you're wearing is that a Michaela Edenfield shirt there?
Yes, so I am wearing Michaela's shirt now. Bring it down just a little bit. It's her Area 51 shirt that we did for her. I say we, but it's really just me. I am the one-woman operator for this business. But it's been so fun. And like you said, I kind of got into it. Well, still, it's very new. NIL is very new. People are still trying to figure it out. But I knew the way that this business started was I knew I wanted to be able to give back to the softball team for everything that they had done for me in the program. And so I started creating these shirts, and for my legacy shirt, I do donate part of the proceeds back to the team. So that's really fun. And then with the NIL shirts, the girls make money off of them and build their brand at the same time. So it's been really fun and creative. It's crazy. I never expected it to take off the way that it did. So I have a shirt for Sydney Sherrill, her Area 24 shirt. I have Michaela's shirt that I'm wearing right now, her Area 51 shirt. And then I am creating, it is being made as we speak, a shirt for Kat Sandercock. And so it's just been really fun getting to work with the girls. Like, I still get to be connected with them because I am really good friends with all of them still. And then also be able to give back to the program. And we just did an autograph signing at Madison Social, and that was a lot of fun. We're trying to create an opportunity to do that again at another place in Tallahassee before Sydney graduates. Trying to get as much of Sydney as we can because she is so awesome and we're going to miss her dearly. And so I've been able to add on autographed flyers that people can purchase by Sydney, Michaela, and Kat. I've also been able to add on autographed softballs. We sold out of those in a day, which was crazy to me. I didn't think, those would sell out that quickly, but they did. So I'm working to get those back. But it is hard because I do not live in Tallahassee. I live in Tennessee. So it's a lot of back and forth figuring out ways that, we can get this stuff autographed so that I can, ship it to fans all across the nation. And I think that's been the greatest part of it is the response from the fans, and then telling me this is so amazing. Like, thank you. We live in Arizona. We've never been able to come to a game, but now I can give my daughter an autographed softball from these players that she loves. And it means a lot. It's really cool to see, just the fans and the support. I mean, I sent a shirt out to Alaska not that long ago. So we got Seminoles in Alaska. It's really fun. But yeah, like you said, it's Sunday Golds and Company, SundayGoldsCo.com, which is where you can purchase the merchandise. And I am going to continue to grow it. And hopefully I have a lot of plans, add on more girls, add on maybe more teams. We're going to try to expand with the women and see what we can do with that.
Well, it's awesome. Please consider supporting the business if you have not already. I may have a t-shirt in my closet, so I appreciate that you've provided to us. And if you don't mind, for the Osceola readers and watchers on YouTube, you can like or subscribe to our channel. We'll try to do more of these videos. If you enjoy them, please feel free to leave a comment either on YouTube or maybe on our message board. If you have some questions for Caylan, we'll be happy to get into those maybe in our next show after the ACC tournament. So we'll kind of shift there briefly before we wrap up here. All these games will be in Pittsburgh starting Wednesday. 1 o'clock will be the first game, and all these games will be on ACC Network right up until the championship game on Saturday. Now, Florida State will play first against Virginia. That'll be Thursday night, 7:30. Again, ACC Network. The Seminoles swept Virginia in the regular season. That was up in Charlottesville. I think, Caylan, looking at the bracket just briefly and trying to see if there's any road or advantages in the road that the Seminoles have, it would appear like they could dodge Clemson or Virginia Tech, depending on how that side of the bracket works out. Your early thoughts on just this path toward a championship for the Seminoles as they're going to be pursuing in the coming days?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about the ACC tournament because the strength of the ACC has grown so much within the past few years. Before, it was Florida State, very dominant, but it's not like that anymore. Virginia Tech, I would say, is probably one of the most dominant teams in the nation right now with, their two pitchers, Keely Richard, Emma Lemley, and then their offense. They hit the ball hard. Clemson, we did sweep Clemson in that 2-game series, but they're still a very talented team. They can still come out and they can come out with a vengeance. And then we haven't seen Duke yet. And Duke is a very talented team this year. And they beat us last year in the ACC tournament, and they ended up winning the ACC tournament. So I think that, those are going to be 3 teams that we really have to watch. I think that they all have the potential to do some real damage. But like you said, hopefully, maybe the way that the bracket goes, we don't see Virginia Tech until the championship game. That would be the best, in my opinion, because they are such a talented team. The real question is going to be Duke, really how we come out against Duke. Are we going to have that kind of vengeance because they took it from us last year? We'll see. I know that's something that Florida State, I think we had won 6 ACC championships in a row before last year. So that's something that, they definitely are going to want to try to take back. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be some really good softball, but hopefully not seeing Virginia Tech until the championship game.
Yeah, it'll be a fun couple of days of watching softball again, Wednesday through Saturday. Hopefully the weather is good up in Pittsburgh. I understand they are rotating these ACC softball tournament host sites around, so it's going to kind of bounce around the conference depending on which schools want to host. I believe Florida State hosted in 2019, won the title. It was fun to watch here at home in Tallahassee, and this will of course move around. Again, want to thank Caylan Arnold for joining us. We'll do another one of these maybe Saturday after a big championship game. We'll see. If not, it might be a few days later, depending on our schedules. But we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you found this informative and fun. And again, leave us some thoughts and comments, any questions for Caylan that you might have. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer those in future episodes. We thank you again for watching. Caylan, enjoy the softball this weekend.
Thank you. You too.